Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little bit more about Wonder Woman. But before we do, I want to just re-emphasize again the verse, Proverbs 21:5, which says, "The thoughts of the diligent tend only to abundance, but everyone who is hasty only to want." Today, endeavor not to be quick to act on things which are not thought all the way through. Person who is diligent, they think about the situation first before they move, and therefore they're able to implement a plan which is quickly done and diligently done. They're not slowful in that. A hasty person is actually slowful and actually slows themselves down. So think about that today. I know I covered this before. Wonder Woman came out with 2 TV spots. Okay, you can go and check it out on comicbook.com. One is Danger and the other one is Happy Mother's Day. I think both of them are awesome. Not really any new footage there. It's just been recycled again. And that's awesome because, like I said, all you have to do really is title things, because you still are meeting newer and newer people. You're not just dealing with the people who will regularly watch these clips, but the people who haven't seen these things yet. And one was a TV spot and the other one was a promo clip. So it's really awesome. Mother's Day comes the 14th of this month, which is next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Besides that, Chris Pine went up on SNL over yesterday night. It aired, and one of the funny things that he did was he tried to distinguish who he was from other Chris's who actually are in other superhero movies. We have Chris Evans, who is Captain America, also known as Steve Rogers. Chris Pine, who's Star-Lord. We have Chris, who is the Thor personality for Marvel, Chris Hemsworth. So he separated himself from those guys, okay? Which I thought was pretty funny. And it's also interesting in that when we look at Wonder Woman, we look at other characters in Wonder Woman. And Steve Trevor is one of those main protagonists in the movie. If you watch here, this is Chris Pine. He's Steve Trevor. Interestingly enough, Steve Trevor is a character in a superhero movie. And then we have Steve Rogers, who's the main character in Captain America. And there are a lot of actually similarities between Captain America and Wonder Woman. One of them is the military time, that they're in a time of war. It's a period film. Captain America's World War II, whereas Wonder Woman is going to be in World War I. And strangely enough, Steve Trevor is one of those highly specially decorated, spy admirals or army men. And it's just funny how Steve Trevor actually sort of overlaps with Steve Rogers' personality or his credentials, etc. So we'll go into that in some detail. First of all, though, if you look at Steve Trevor's appearance as well as how he dresses, he really does remind us of the classical Steve Trevor. If you look here, the classical Steve Trevor has that kind of shirt there, and then he has the coat and jacket and the pants. And if you pay attention, it's pretty much like this. This is exactly, this is just a statue of it, but you can see that Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, also conforms to those same things. Alright? Show them some more detail here. This is Chris Pine in the movie itself, and there he is. And he looks just like the toy statue you just saw. And here's the actual toy. The color scheme on this coat is a little bit green instead of gray, but the same kind of dark pants and everything like this Steve Trevor here. Alright, so very much Chris Pine is falling into the appearance and look. Blonde hair, white man with the getup like this animated character's getup, right? It's very much like that. So I thought that was very, very interesting to note. And Chris Pine really encapsulates that classical Steve Trevor. The other interesting thing is looking at the military aspect of Chris Pine. So here is Chris Pine in military gear, and you can see how it looks there. Of course, he is in a sort of German gear here because he's a spy, he's undercover. And the classical Steve Trevor from World War II, he had this particular kind of getup, right? Which, very interestingly enough, really World War II, if we're talking classical World War II, Steve Rogers, so you have Steve Trevor and you have Steve Rogers, actually has that classical getup. In fact, Steve Rogers can pass for Steve Trevor. He could actually be Steve Trevor. And the other joke that Chris Pine made was that he and Chris Evans, they're both the same height. Both of them are 6 feet tall. So it's just really funny that Chris Evans could easily have been Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman as Chris Pine is. Okay. Now, having said that, though, there's something else that's very interesting here that I want to highlight very quickly. And that is that with the advertising and everything, Chris Pine's character and even a lot of the characters who are in this movie with Wonder Woman, they have not been highlighted. And that's very good. I think Warner Brothers is doing an excellent job with that. Wonder Woman is the one that's being on display for the most part. Though we have seen Steve Trevor with her, mostly we've been looking at Wonder Woman throughout because this movie's all about her. So I found that to be very interesting. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword is coming out this Friday in cinemas all around the place. And you really want to go check it out. It's the 12th, which will be this Friday. And remember, as much as we talk about Wonder Woman, I have to include this in all of my videos. And so I'm including this. It looks good. Again, it stars, one of the main villains is Jude Law. Another very good actor in this movie is Eric Banner. This gentleman here, strangely enough, he kind of reminds me of Channing Tatum, but he's not Channing Tatum. He's a British actor, and he has a name that begins with C as well. Very interesting that he is starring in this movie because I do not know this actor at all. So look out for it. If you can go to the cinemas and check it out, go ahead and check it out. I mean, it looks pretty epic. I don't know how good it is, but it's something that you guys could check out as well, in addition to all the Wonder Woman stuff we've been talking about today. So on that note, you guys have a good one.